Hey guys, it's Baby Bear, and I'm really excited for this. I never interviewed anybody before, and I like to think about content that if I was a viewer, what would I want to watch? And there's already so many big player streamers. There's already people that cover the mechanics. There's people that cover the updates really well. I kind of am in my own niche, and so I try to think of things that if I was an Evony player, what would I want to watch? And definitely it's intriguing to see these really, really big players that are going to like keep 43, 44. And I I think that people are just interested in the motivations, right, of these players because a lot of us are kind of discouraged with Evany and sometimes like I told you guys, I'm going to report the spectrum of it. Like I want to let you know like all sides of the Evony coin and what other players think that actually like this update or that are actually partaking in the update. And I will say that Tay is probably one of the nicest guys I've ever come across on any mobile gaming. I've played mobile gaming for 7 years, and let me tell you, the top players are normally just really, really ego driven and kind of jerky. And he is just the nicest, most patient person I've ever met on any sort of mobile gaming. So he's really patient with me because I kind of struck out a couple of times with him in trying trying to get content up. But I I recorded the interview in the very beginning when we were chatting. And of course, I actually hit the Discord chat button and I thought I was actually recording, but no, I was actually looking at the like Discord chat thing. So we got through like half of the interview and I realized I wasn't recording. And then I did this second time recording, and this time you can only hear him. So, yeah, because obviously I've never done this before. So instead of me going and going through this again with him, I'm just going to record his answers and I'll just kind of phrase like the questions that I asked him. Just know that like if there's any weird pauses or anything, that's just because that was me talking. So, I'll try to do it as best as I can. I'll try to edit it as best as I can. And I really like a lot of the takeaways that I got from the conversation, and I had a blast playing with Val. What I really, really liked was that there were female players. I'm always wanting to, try to spread all the love of female power. And I get a lot of friend requests from a lot of women players, and obviously Saf and Kotez. Like we're all besties, and it's cool to see a lot of female players playing the game as well and being on a competitive PvP level. So that's what I really like. That was the first thing that I noticed about Val. And then secondly, they were very well organized, and I always like when there's just really like one person talking, one rally leader just giving the 3, 2, 1, and then you have a couple people, spotting or finding the target. So that was kind of on par with what I'm used to. I just couldn't believe the amount of speed that they just do the rallies. I mean, it's just one after the other. It's crazy. Um, I will say that, playing on C5 and C4 obviously in All Stars is a lot of fun. However, there's no comparison to the amount of rallies and speed that you're joining. And on my keep, just know that I my keep is too small to be like clustered up in the hive because it always gets attacked. And I tried that and I just didn't show that on there. But I always kind of pour out a little bit away from the main hive. And it's really interesting because I saw the people streaming that we played against, like the rivals that we played against, and I heard them say like, where is that like 1 billion just like sitting on its island? And they're like, is it a trap? Is it that? So a lot of times, and you'll notice on here, I don't ever get zeroed because people tend to like stay away from like isolated keeps. It's just something that I've learned from Challenge and All Stars and all that stuff. So unless I'm a big castle, it's not smart to really hive up or else you're just going to keep getting zeroed all the time. So I actually luckily didn't get zeroed at all in this BOC, which was kind of nice. I was reinforced by Tay, I think once or twice, so that probably helped. But Definitely, it was a really great experience, and I'm really glad that I did it. So let's turn to the interview, and you guys can hear more from him. So, what made you want to upgrade your keep?
In Military Academy 10. So my focus right now is to use um, the bigger monster spawns that I can kill to really get, our other players unlocking T15s. I'm less worried about me personally getting T16s versus trying to get our team sitting around 20, 25 billion power keeps with everybody having T15s. I mean, that's our focus. No, no problem. Hey, like I said, it's the first for both of us. So, if it is what it is. I mean, if you want to do like just a wipe and a start from scratch, I mean, like if you want to pause it and we can I mean, we could definitely redo whatever. I mean, no, it's all good. It's not the end of the world. Truly, I mean, I still have BSC is still scheduled for another 42 minutes. It's not like I'm sitting here killing anything in there. So, if you want to, so I mean, if you actually want to like just stop it, restart, like we could go through like any refining questions that you want, and then we can start it fresh. I'm cool with that. Whatever. Really wanted to take advantage of the tech power boost, unlocking the ability to. I figured there was going to be new monsters that were going to require, much higher tech power to be able to kill with no wounded, and so that was kind of my focus there. Plus, it's always nice to have bigger buffs than other people in BOC and BOG. Not gonna lie.
So, how long have you been playing Evony?
I've been playing Evony for 18 months, or maybe close to 2 years, somewhere between 18 months to 24 months. I started on C4. I still have a keep there that I love to play with a great group there. And then I'm on C3 as well. Who knows, maybe C2, C1 someday. There's nine. There's nine BSC and BOG slots, so I only play two right now. So, seven more. So if anybody's looking for a filler, feel free to hit me up.
I do have a question in regards to a lot of times bigger players or just players in general tend to jump servers or play multiple servers. Do you have any insight as to why you guys like to do that?
Well, I mean, there's a couple reasons why people would want to do it. I mean, personally, just I didn't imagine playing on multiple servers initially, but when the opportunity started to present itself, with such a quality group like VAL, I was absolutely going to be there. I think that any player that's coming in the game, and I know it's going to be hard for some to, maybe want to do this, but if you're on a server that frankly is just not a good server, or you're with people that you just don't enjoy playing with, doesn't matter how much you've spent on the game. I definitely think it's absolutely worth finding quality players that you enjoy playing with, over just sticking it out because you feel like you've spent money on a game.
So, as you know, we experience lag and glitches in BOC and BOG, and it did seem to me today when I was playing on BOC 7 that I had a lot more lag and glitches than we did in BOC 8 playing with you guys. Do you talk to the developers? Do you guys ever try to figure out what the solutions can be for fixing these lags and glitches, especially during All Stars and Challenge?
Well, that's a great question. I wish I was cool enough to get to talk to the developers, but being the lowly peon that I am, I don't get to speak to them, except like everybody else to occasionally send the customer service ticket that may take quite a bit long to get responded to and then get told no. But yeah, no, I think that I mean, I wish there was some transparency on how many teams were signed up into certain slots, just because I'm sure that, if you look at All Stars with the preliminaries being the most rounds going, I mean, there was definitely a significant lag, and then as All Stars continued, it definitely got a lot better. But I mean, a lot of people, I mean, a significant portion of the field's not going to get out of preliminaries just because of how it works, and very disappointing when somebody works really hard to even qualify for All Stars, which is definitely a challenge, and then they turn around and their first match is something where it's a lag fest and rallies aren't working. And so I think if they maybe did continents at different times, that would help. Plus, marketing that would make it where I would love to watch other people play. Like I would love to have seen Continent 2 and Continent 1 and all the continents, just really the finals, but all you end up doing is getting to watch something after the fact, which is unfortunate.
Do you have any overall advice for people at Evony? Just kind of a top level overall advice that you could give?
Yeah, I think, remember it's a game. Even even when it's frustrating, and you think, why do I do this? It is a game, so it's supposed to be enjoyable. I think finding people that you want to play with is absolutely critical. Finding an active server that you enjoy is absolutely critical. Don't ever hesitate on just starting over if you're just not enjoying yourself on the server that you're in. There's definitely a lot of great ones out there. I highly recommend, if you're going to coin at all, to try not to be the first one that does something like because there's a lot of like Evany is not exactly the greatest at communicating how things work or event details. So a lot of people that do coin or even just don't coin, as soon as they just go after the very first shiny thing that they see. They're like, ooh, this is new. And being a little methodical and finding out a little bit about that first definitely, will save you any sort of, you know, hopefully mistakes being made. I know with some of the newest updates, people are regretting some of the decisions they had made with generals or, spending resources on other things. So, I mean, taking your time sometimes and kind of planning out how you're going to approach building or building troops, research, all of that, I mean, can really help you significantly, timing it around the right events, things like that.
So I know you've brought up that VAL is just a really quality team and you really enjoy playing with them. What are these qualities that you look for in an
How
alliance?
to plan things out. I think having an alliance with a Discord that's active is, a benefit that we have because we're constantly sharing, information. We're crunching numbers to see, is this general worth ascending? And I mean, what's the, or is it what like is the buff enough to warrant making the change or wasting blood of Ares on it? You know, a lot of these resources are not. I mean, they you can only earn them in a very limited supply. So making the right decision can definitely have a huge impact for you. And I agree with you on the Spirit Beast. For the average, like lower coiner, and I don't mean that offensively towards anyone. I'm just saying based off the level that you're spending. I mean that's absolutely going to have a big impact. The academy that you mentioned, it has a huge impact as well. But pushing it to maybe like 40 level isn't going to have, say, the same impact as pushing it to say 36. So it's just looking at things like that.
So one of my favorite events is SVS, and I know that as you guys start getting a lot bigger, more experienced, and you're always matched with huge alliances that just have really big players, I've noticed that people stop playing SVS the older as, servers get. And a lot of times people are just kind of in their bubbles, they have their own truces and they're not playing anymore. Do you guys still play SVS or what are your thoughts on that? Because I know most of the biggest alliances really just focus on battlefields and I I think SVS is so fun. I think it's just so fun because all levels of players can play, all of them. And I think what people are worried about is losing their power permanently as opposed to on BOC and BOG, they don't. So, do you have any thoughts about SVS?
SVS is one of those things that's really unfortunate how, in my opinion, how Ebony approaches it. I think that the source of light, I really wish SVS was like BOC which is where any troop that you lose, like over that 3 day period, it just automatically comes back to you after SVS is over. And then if you want to heal like in the middle of it, you can, and it's just heals. I think if you did that, I mean, like literally the action of SVS would just, I mean, I couldn't even tell you how much it would scale um, by changing that aspect. Or if you wanted to keep Source of Life in the game in its current format, then you could have it where during SVS, instead of using regular heal speeds, it would use Source of Life to bring back your troops. But I mean, all the battles over thrones, I mean, most people are sitting here with like throne truces, or what happens is a server wide email goes out, from whoever's king at that point, and says, "Hey, everybody should bubble now for 3 days. Toss up your 3 day bubble, and you'll be fine." And then the other thing as well is like on most servers you're having to purge right before SVS starts, and if you're on a NAP server, I mean, you end up sometimes not doing that. And then, you're saying, oh, well, we're going to bubble them for, every 8 hours, and that doesn't work out. I mean, there's animosity there. There's just a lot of, well, I mean, people hold on to that stuff, especially, so they're like, oh my God, you zeroed me 7 months ago on a Friday at 4:30 p.m. I know the purge started at 4 o'clock, but I mean, I've gotten emails like that, and I'm sure people. I mean, based off of your laughing response, that it does sound crazy. So I definitely would love to see like an SVS change, and I definitely think Evony would. I mean, they're a business, so I mean, I understand they need to make money, but I mean, that would benefit them significantly.
So, one question I have, because you guys have formed such an amazing PvP team, what advice do you have on trying to motivate or inspire big players, small players, farmers, monster killers? How do you motivate them to participate in PvP?
I think the very first, everybody's scared about it, especially, that first few times, because it's such a drastic departure gameplay than what the normal day-to-day gameplay is. The normal day-to-day gameplay is, join monster rallies, which is sending one troop, or going out and farming a node, or finding, scouting. That's what the average player does for 99% of their gameplay. And then you toss them into arguably a fast-paced environment where like somebody is absolutely hunting them, and they don't have their number one defensive maneuver, which is what they're used to, which is throw up a bubble. So they jump in. I've seen it several times. Where they get extremely discouraged because they jump into a BOC or BOG, and it's especially like this in like C5, and arguably maybe still like C4 sometimes. But you get up to 2, 3, 4 billion power, and then you just get slapped by somebody that's like 22, 25 billion power, and it's very discouraging. And they don't know what to do. Like, they don't know how to teleport. They can't take a rally. Like, they don't need to try to take a rally yet because they're not big enough. So I mean, I think that to get people in there, to have people want to play that, is really just trying to make sure that we invite them in a no pressure type situation. Where, hey, join the rallies, we'll reinforce you if we can. If you get zeroed, it's no pressure. I think is if you, and then you educate them on their gameplay style. I can tell you in All Stars this past season, there were first time All-Star players where you could definitely see it was a significantly different gameplay style, where in the past it was pretty much just soloing each other, in their BOC BOG, and then they get into All-Stars and it's all rallies, and they don't know what to do. And you're like, "We'll port out of the rally," and they're like, "Well, I've got a march and your range rally." Well, pull the march out of the range rally and port. Well, how do I do that? It's just so. I think just educating people and also not putting a ton of pressure on them is really the best way to do it.
So, this is the question that I ask everybody Are you a nap server or are you a bubble and burn server?
So my C4 server is a BOB server, and my C3 server is a NAB server. And then, so I mean, I played both. Um, I would say, the arguments made on, a NAP server makes you soft, and then you forget to bubble for SVS, which is arguably true sometimes. I think it's more player specific. I think you have this. I'll say this: BOB or NAP, it's the same people that get zeroed every single time. Like I just like literally we started SVS on 580, and literally one of the guys got zeroed, and I was like, "Yep, started down a billion points. Sounds like it's Friday." So, clearly the NAP did not help us with that, but on, my BOB server, same stuff happens. I mean, it's, I see pros and cons to both. I think that I personally think it benefits to have nap, and then every so often you mix it up to where you do like we're going to participate with the kill event. My C4 server does it pretty interesting. If we win SVS, it's a nap. If we lose SVS, it's bubble or burn.
So, one thing that I'm always curious about is how people choose their handles, their profile handles, because I think it's very, very telling about someone. So, like for instance, for me, my cat's name is Baby Bear. So, I call her Baby Bear. Her personality is very much like mine, but also I am very much like a baby bear. Like, I am very innocent and cuddly and cute until you poke the bear and then it's just like it's done. So that's how my name came about. How did your name come about?
I used to be a Taekwondo instructor. So for many, many years, for 20 plus years, that's what I did. And like did martial arts, not just that one, but, and then used to own a couple schools back in the day. And so just I was joining a totally different game many, many years ago, and the gamer tag that I used on Xbox wasn't available, so I was in a hurry. So I just tried Tay, and it was good. And so originally, that's just where it came from, and then it kind of just stuck from there. So, and it's short. I could say it's eat backwards if you think about it. So maybe that's where I was going with it. Who knows? I may have been hungry that day. I don't know. I mean, but that's the. I mean, it's not like a great story, but that's where it came from. So
So everyone, just know that I had to edit all this together because when it got recorded, you only hear him and you don't hear anything that I say. So it actually worked out really well because I was able to make the questions really clean and we can hear just everything from his point of view and his side. And I I think that a lot of the things that he said resonated with me, especially when you're playing a game, it's just a game, but you really have to be with people that you enjoy playing a game with. And especially when you're investing so much money and so much time, right? Even if you're not investing money, there's a lot of people out there investing time. So really make sure that you're on a server that you can see it going, the distance, or at least you really love the people that you play with. So I think that is important. And I really liked the idea of playing PvP and trying to inspire and motivate people to do it by not putting so much pressure on them and giving them a place where they can make mistakes and learn that way. And to be honest, I'll have to thank Hisoka and Sapphire for pushing me to actually join um, Tay's BOC because I wasn't going to do it. I've actually been asked a lot to fill for people, but I'm definitely not at their level. So I've always been intimidated because I don't think that I'm a good enough game player to play with these top alliances. So I've always kind of been like, no, I don't. I'll mess up and I will suck. But they told me like you have to do it because you have to get the experience, and they're right because I was actually able to learn things that I wouldn't have learned playing BOC at the level that we play right now. So, all in all, this was a really great experience. And, I know people are discouraged right now. I know I am with Evony. I've been discouraged. Obviously, you can hear it from the updates. We're from a place where we all are kind of complaining because we can't go to keep 45, But one thing about me is that I try not to dwell on the worst things. Um, I really do try to find out, what is something that people would want to watch that actually, hey, they might actually enjoy that. Even though they might not be enjoying Ebony right now, it's something that, hopefully the developers watch this. I really think they do watch a lot of our YouTube channels. Hopefully that they watch this and see the point of view of a big player and even his size. He was saying that customer service doesn't get back to him. So just know that that has to be super frustrating and just know, and I always compare this game to King of Avalon, but on King of Avalon we had VIP levels, and we got like up to $300 worth of free packs every month. We had our own VIP butler online, so if we ever had any complaints, we went to the line chat and we had our own person assigned to us. It was it was so much better, the customer service. And so obviously Ebony probably doesn't have the people to do that, but it is important to kind of make sure that your players are happy. And I'm not trying to say that people that spend should get priority or are better than people that don't spend or free players. I think that you have to make sure that everyone is happy, or else, you know, big spenders will leave when smaller players quit because then they don't have people to beat up or, play with. Um, the other thing that I've noticed, and this is something that I want the developers to really understand, because I've watched a lot of these Discord channels of people quitting and selling. These are not 3 billion keeps and below. These are people that are 10 billion, 12 billion, 20 billion and up. These are people that huge. They're not small coiners. They're not medium coiners. These are big coiners that are quitting the game. And so I think, for these super coiners, they need to have competition. They need to have people to play with, or they're going to get bored and not play. So I think it's really important that Ebony understands, and hopefully they'll see the bottom line. Hopefully all these updates aren't driving the spend too much, because from what I've talked to, now talking is different than people actually doing, it does seem like people are very much hesitant in really, really participating in all these buy-ins and paywalls and everything like that. So I'm just doing a couple of packs, a day, doing the 3K gems. I'm capitalizing on, you know, getting that with the weekend packages and just not spending a lot. And what I've noticed is I don't get so emotionally involved in the game, and I can actually see the game for what it is right now and just enjoy the level that I'm willing to pay for. Now, if Evany starts fixing the glitches and we can actually play a smooth BOC and All Stars, then I think a lot of people will start spending again. I think that's all Evany has to do. It's unfortunate that they don't understand that. Um, but anyways, this was all about the Tay. Now when he said Taekwondo, is his name Tai or is it Tay? I think the Tay is better. I just like it, but I should ask him how do you say his name? Should have asked him that in the very beginning. I'm a bad interviewer. I'm sorry, guys. I can't even record correctly. So if you guys like this content, and if you're a big player out there and you would like to be interviewed, or if you would like for me to do a BOC with you guys and stream it and, well, edit it or show the highlights. And the reason why I haven't done a live stream is because, number one, I don't know how to do it, but also I've tried doing like a full tournament match, and like hardly anybody watches those. I think it's just because people's attention spans are just, it's different nowadays. So I also think that people would rather watch the rally leader than a filler. I mean, look, there's a lot of people that fill, and you still get to hear the rally leader. So I'm not saying that that content is not relevant. It's just that I notice that doing like a highlight cut down, people will watch that a lot more frequently. So that's why I don't do full live streams. And then yeah, I just think if there's any recommendations, if you guys have a player you would like me to try to pursue to try to do this, let me know in the comments. And if you guys like this content, please like, subscribe, and share because it helps the channel. And of course, if you're going to spend, make sure you're saving some money. There's the Aptoide info in the description. There's a promo code there, and make sure you're saving money and not paying full price. And that's it, guys. I'll see you on the next one.